It's just, you know, a rock sticking out of the ground. But it looks purposely positioned. So anyway, I saw that sticking out of the ground and decided to start detecting around a little bit. Check it out. How awesome is that? Alright, so today we're up in the mountains again. We're on a humongous piece of property that has no known cellar holes. Granted permission, they said there's lots of stone walls, but no cellars that they're aware of. So I'm just out wandering today, following the walls, using the metal detector on the way, hoping to come across, you know, areas of heavy iron and items to find. My hope is that there was, if not home sites, sheds, you know, tool sheds, stuff that they would need, you know, out in the fields. We're gonna walk these walls for a while and hopefully we come across something interesting. So I'm following the stone wall and it's really wet right here. There's the wall. This whole area is really saturated with water. I just got a normal button tone here. Dug it out. Check it out. How awesome is that? I found, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these in the last few years, but they are super awesome. So you can see in the back, they look like loops, but they were, you know, they'd stick straight out, put them in through a couple holes in the leather, and you'd bend those over and it would stay on the leather. That's beautiful. I've actually found one in the past that had stars and stripes on it, but this one is just plain, but that is just fine. That is awesome. That's a beauty. Again, this is brass, so when it was new, it would have been a beautiful golden color. Very cool. Let's see what else we can find in this area. Alright, so I was walking along and I came across this really cool mountain spring here. It's hard to see, but there's actually some turbulence in the water where the water's bubbling right out of the ground and it comes across and it goes over the top of the stone wall here. You know, these old farms in the mountains of Vermont were most likely sheep farms. And since there's no stonework around the spring, either it only happens this time of year in the springtime when the snow's thawing, or they just left it for the animals to drink out of. It was really cool. We're going to keep walking the stone wall. I see some just enormous trees, and we're going to hope we find something. I did detect around this, didn't find anything interesting, so we're going to keep going. Alright, well, I didn't find a home site, but I did find an odd feature. It's just, you know, a rock sticking out of the ground, but it looks purposely positioned. So anyway, I saw that sticking out of the ground and decided to start detecting around a little bit. And right over here, found a nice little mid-tone, a little tomback button. There's no design or anything, but judging by the shape of the shank, little mound of solder in the middle there. This is most likely late 1700s, so that's very promising. Let's keep looking. Alright, well I think that I am in a little hot spot here. Every target that I've dug here has been something. I have 4 buttons. This one's damaged, this little one here, and a little brass buckle that was gold plated. So that's pretty exciting. There's always the chance that you know, it was just a piece of clothing out here that rotted away and the buttons got left, but I don't think so. I'm hoping this is just a spot people spent time and we can find some stuff other than buttons and buckles. Cross your fingers, let's keep looking. Alright, so I've been detecting around this little button area, and I have another target here that I'm pretty sure is going to be a button. I've dug so many buttons already. But for the first time, check this out. That's brick. I had suspected that this was just kind of a dump. They threw whatever, their clothes, and all the buttons got left. But it seems like there was a structure here without a basement, which is a little confusing because I haven't found any real home site items yet. You know, like spoons and hinges and all the things that you would expect you'd find that fell into the ground when a house fell. But brick is a good sign. Let's see what else is in this hole here. in my hand. Yeah. It's another button, broken tomback, which is just about the same age as first tomback I found, just bigger. Alright, I think I just found one of my fanciest civilian buttons I've ever found here. Look at that. It is a button. It's got a shank back here. Looks like we've lost a little bit of it. I would assume that these little lacework pieces would have been all around the outside, but that's cool. It's very brittle. I think it's pewter. Let me see if I can get it cleaned up with the toothbrush. Yeah, check that out. I actually did lose another one of these when I was cleaning it. I was doing it very gently, but it's just very brittle. So you see the shank is broken, but it's still very cool. I suspect this was on a, a dress or a very fancy dude's coat. Alright, see what else we can find. Alright, well, we just got the first item that isn't a button or a buckle, and I just peeked at it and then put it back down in the hole to get the camera set up. I noticed the face is really pretty. Nice. Looks like it's just dots, but it's really, really pretty cool. It was fixed to leather, and where my finger's going through it would have been another leather strap. It's just a little strap guide, but that's pretty cool. Nice and pretty. It would have been shined up, beautiful, shiny gold color when it was new. Let's keep looking. We got our first pretty nice target here. 79, 81. It's pretty promising. Let's see. Uh-oh. We're in some roots here. Oop, geez, it already popped out. Looks like a coin. Nice. You see that? Right here. Geez, it wasn't very deep. That's definitely a large cent, I think. No, it isn't. It isn't a large cent. It's a token. It's a really off-center struck token. Yeah, it's a hard times token. Awesome. I've actually found another one of these, and it didn't clean up very well, so I'm excited about this one. Look at that. You can read it clear as day. Millions for defense, not 1 cent for tribute. On the back and on the front, it's a building, and this was a token to commemorate when it was burnt down in New York. But look, it's so poorly struck. This side over here is all flattened out. That's awesome. I've said it before, it's one thing finding a large cent or even a colonial copper, but tokens, there was a lack of coinage during this time, so businesses were printing their own, and a lot of them had political statements on them that I find personally way more interesting than just a random large cent. This is very, very cool. Awesome. We're going to keep going. Seems like a very hot spot. You can probably see this is where the token came from, and I've just been making my way across. There's holes all over the place over here. Alright, well, the little spiky stone sticking out of the ground is right over there. And I kind of walked sideways a little bit, and right here are these stone mounds. 2 of them right next to each other. And actually, there's another one over there. And while they look like they might be a little ominous, I've heard these called field stone piles, where they plow the field, they get a bunch of stone, and they would make little piles like this, but I don't know. I have to think that if I was to be doing something like that, maybe I would just add them to the walls or put them in one big pile instead of little piles all over the place. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Seems a little odd. Alright, so I'm in this really wet area here. And I think I just found my first little home site item, which is a little spoon. I chased it around the hole for quite a while. It's so small and it's all mud here. But I don't know, it's pretty shiny. No, I think it's probably alloy of pewter of some kind, because it's just not reading high enough for it to be silver on the metal detector. That is really pretty. Tiny little teaspoon or something smaller. I was hoping that there would be initials up here, but don't seem to be. Still very, very cool. A promising find for around here, especially a spoon of this design. Probably wasn't in some hunter's packed lunch. So we're gonna keep looking. All right, we've got another very promising find here. Check this out. Do you know what that is? That is 1/4 of a Colonial era shoe buckle. Well, I guess it's probably much less than 1/4, because it's 1/4 of the frame and then there was a whole bunch of bits in the middle, but that's what that is. Worn on their shoes and boots. They're very fashionable and date to mid-1700s, so seems to fall in line with everything else we've been finding here. The tomback buttons and that pewter spoon, so that's pretty exciting. That sun's about to go back down behind the mountain, so we better hurry up if we're going to find some more stuff. Alright, well, I am fairly confident now that we found a home site without a basement. I found a half of a brick over there, and I just found an iron hinge. The things that we look for. We're looking for home sites. So that's awesome. All of these buttons were dropped around a structure of some kind. Long gone now. It's exciting. Man, out in the middle of nowhere. I think that they said that there's like 40 acres of wooded land, stone walls. Found one of the home sites. Awesome. Alright, well, I don't want to get too optimistic, but I just found, could be a coin spill. It could also be an aluminum arrow shaft, because it's in a straight line. We're going to hope that it's a coin spill. So right here, it's a high 70s target. I move this, drops down to a low 70s target, and then over here there's another high 70s target. So we're going to start down here. See what that might be. Whatever it is, it's in my hand. Let's see. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. Let's keep going. Let's go to this other high tone down. What's another one? Shell casing. I don't think I've ever shown shell casings in my videos before because they're just so abundant out here. But these are clearly the older style. It's a very large caliber rimfire bullet. You can see there's no primer. And I cleaned them off just a little bit, and you can see there's a letter U in the middle. I don't know off the top of my head what the U stands for, but they're definitely old, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to dig up the rest of them. I'm going to bring these home, display them with my old ammunition stuff. Pretty cool. Right, I had a so-so signal here, and I got the plug out. It's a little bit better. It's high 70s. Let's see what we can find here. Is it a coin? It is a coin. Nice. Oh, phew. All right. Let's see if we can figure out what this is. It's pretty thick. Oh yes, it's a large cent. You see that? 1 cent. See what style here. Ooh, it's a drape bust. Nice. Oh man, I wonder if we can get a date off of it. Alright, well there's the bust. And the date is not quite legible. I think I'll be able to read it if I get it cleaned up a little bit more. This backside is awesome. But the front side is a little less legible, unfortunately. It's a pretty short span of dates, so we'll be able to dial it in pretty close. We can make out a couple digits. That is awesome. All right, we're calling it a day, and it was a pretty good day. You know, I dug so many buttons, I kind of forgot about all the other cool stuff that I found. And there's quite a bit of it. Okay, of course we got our drape bust large cent and our hard times token. We found 21 buttons today. This one I left separate because it's got a really cool floral design on there, and it's pewter. You can see that seam right there is where they poured it to a mold. It's an old one and a pretty cool one. So we got 21 buttons, 4 musket balls, Colonial era shoe buckle frame, quarter of it, our little spoon handle, and actually we found another spoon handle here, a lot less pretty though. 2 leather ornaments, a couple iron buckles, and our rimfire shell casings. So it's a pretty good day. I'm happy. I spent the majority of the day in that one little area, and I did find a bunch of bricks and iron hardware that would indicate that it was a dwelling of some kind, whether people lived in it or if it was just kind of like a field house where they stored tools or whatever. Hard to say, but whatever it was, they dropped plenty of stuff. You know, this time of year is probably my favorite to be in the woods. There's no bugs and it's nice and cool, and you can see quite a ways without all the leaves on, and just starting to kind of come alive a little bit. We've got lots of birds chirping, and chipmunks are chasing each other around all on the stone walls, and in the evenings you get a bunch of those barred owl hoots. It's a great time of year. All right, we're going to try to get out of the mountains before the sun goes down. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.